I found an old cassette tape in my grandma's attic. When I played it, I heard my own voice whispering, "Don't listen to this." My blood ran cold. I had never seen that tape before. Then it played a date from next week. And described my death in detail. I never thought cleaning out my grandma's attic would lead me here. She passed away last month, and I volunteered to help sort through her belongings in her old house in rural Pennsylvania. The house was a creaky, two-story structure that had seen better days, but it held decades of memories. While sifting through dusty boxes and old furniture, I stumbled upon a small, unmarked cardboard box tucked away in a corner. Inside, I found an old cassette tape labeled only with the words, "Do not play." Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to listen to it. I found an old cassette player among my grandma's belongings, popped in the tape, and pressed play. What I heard made my blood run cold. A voice, eerily similar to mine, whispered, "Don't listen to this." The voice was distorted, but unmistakably mine. I had never recorded anything like this before. Then, the tape continued with a chilling message, "On April 23, 2025, you will die." It went on to describe, in disturbing detail, the circumstances of my death. I was shaken. I had never seen this tape before, and yet it contained a message in my own voice, predicting my death in a week's time. I don't know what to make of this. I've kept the tape, but I haven't told anyone about it. I'm not sure if I should. Has anyone else experienced something like this? I'm looking for any explanations or similar stories. I couldn't sleep that night. The words kept echoing in my mind, my own voice telling me not to listen, followed by a clear date, a clear death, and a level of detail that I couldn't explain. It wasn't vague or cryptic. It mentioned my name, the clothes I'd be wearing, the street I'd be on, and the way it would happen. I'd be crossing Northview Avenue around 6:43 p.m. A red van would come around the corner too fast. It wouldn't stop. I'd be hit. My neck would break instantly. I'd be gone before I hit the pavement. I replayed the tape at least a dozen times. Each time, the message was the same. No static. No weird audio tricks. Just my voice from somewhere, sometime, saying things that I shouldn't know. The next morning, I tried to convince myself that it was just some bizarre prank. Maybe someone found an old clip of my voice. Maybe they pieced together words. But I knew that didn't make sense. I'd never made a recording like that. The voice wasn't just similar, it was me. Right down to the way I clear my throat when I'm nervous. Still, I couldn't tell anyone. Not yet. They'd think I was cracking under the stress of the funeral, or just sleep-deprived. Maybe I was. But I needed to know if this was real. I did the only thing I could think of, I went to Northview Avenue. It's a quiet street about 20 minutes from my grandma's house. I hadn't been there in years, not since a cousin's birthday party back in high school. But it was exactly how I remembered it, narrow sidewalks, a sharp curve near the church, and not a lot of traffic. I stood on the corner and tried to picture it. Me. Walking across. A red van speeding out of nowhere. I stood there for almost an hour, feeling stupid and scared and angry at myself for letting a tape get under my skin. Then I saw it. A red van. Driving slowly down the street. I don't know if I imagined it, but the driver seemed to stare at me as they passed. I didn't catch the license plate. They didn't stop. But it was enough to send me running back to my car. That night, I tried to record over the tape. I took the cassette out, flipped the tabs, and tried recording music over it. Some old rock station playing on a beat-up radio. But when I played it back, it was still my voice. Exactly the same. No change. I brought it to a local audio repair shop the next day, pretending it was something I'd found while thrifting. The tech looked at it for a bit, popped it in, listened, then got this weird look on his face. Where'd you get this? Just, found it. Why? He hesitated, then said, the tape's old. Like, 80s or early 90s. But the voice isn't degraded. It's crystal clear. Too clear. That's not normal. And the voice sounds familiar. I didn't say anything. I just took the tape and left. That night, I locked it in a metal box. Put it in my trunk. Drove it 10 miles away and left it at a Goodwill donation bin. Then I drove home, showered, and tried to forget the whole thing. The next morning, it was on my kitchen table. Same box. Same tape. This time, the label had changed. It no longer said, "Do not play." It said, "Too late now." I checked every window. Every door. I hadn't had a break-in. Nothing else was moved. No signs of anyone even entering my house. Just that box. Sitting there like it never left. I lost it. I threw it in the fireplace and watched it burn. The flame took a while to catch. It was like the tape didn't want to burn, but eventually, it did. The plastic warped, the label charred, and the reels melted into black puddles. I thought it was over. Then my phone rang. No number. No caller ID. Just static for 10 seconds. Then my voice whispered, "Now you've done it." Click. That was 2 days ago. Since then, weird things keep happening. Lights flickering. Doors locking themselves. My reflection in the bathroom mirror sometimes doesn't move exactly when I do. A shadow outside my window at night, standing still even when the wind blows. And every day since, I find a new cassette. Same handwriting. Same warning. Every one of them plays a different death. Sometimes it's drowning in my bathtub. Sometimes it's falling down the basement stairs. Once it said I'd choke on a piece of toast. But the one that keeps repeating is the original. Northview Avenue. 6:43 p.m. red van. I tried to call the police. Told them I was being stalked. They sent someone out, took a report, but nothing came of it. No fingerprints. No sign of forced entry. They probably think I'm paranoid. I'm beginning to think they're right. Or maybe I'm not paranoid enough. Because last night, I got a new tape. This time, it wasn't just audio. Inside the cassette box was a tiny folded-up photo. It was a picture of me. Lying on the pavement. Blood pooling under my head. Same clothes I was wearing when I found the first tape. And behind me, in the background, was the red van. The driver's face wasn't visible, but there was someone else in the photo. Standing on the sidewalk. Watching. Smiling. And it was me. But older. Hair grayer. Skin wrinkled. Same eyes. He looked directly at the camera. And in the photo, his mouth was open like he was saying something. I swear to God. I could almost hear it just looking at the picture. He was whispering, "You were warned." I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I stared at that photo for hours. My dead body, the red van, the older version of me just watching, smiling like this was some inside joke I hadn't been let in on. That smile stuck with me. I started thinking, what if it wasn't a warning at all? What if it was a plan? A schedule? And what if the only person who could have made all those tapes was me? Or some version of me? The older one. But why? Why would I do that to myself? Unless I had a reason. Maybe something happens later. Maybe I learn something that makes me think all this is worth it. Maybe I become someone I hate. Maybe I'm trying to stop myself. Maybe I'm not the victim in this story. I stopped sleeping. I didn't want to dream. I didn't want to wake up and find more tapes. But I did. Every single morning, another cassette. Same black plastic case. Same handwriting. Too late now. One morning, I smashed the tape before playing it. That day, I got into a minor car accident. Nothing serious. But it wasn't just any fender bender. The guy driving the other car? He looked exactly like me. Younger. Maybe 18 or 19. Pale. Sweating. He stared at me like he was seeing a ghost. Then he peeled off and disappeared. I stood there in the middle of the road, confused and shaking. Later that day, I got another cassette. This one didn't say anything about how I'd die. It just said, "You saw him, didn't you?" That night, I had a dream. In it, I was in my grandma's attic again. Only this time, it wasn't dusty. It looked new. Like it had just been built. In the center was a circle of cassette tapes. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. All arranged like some kind of ritual. And standing in the middle was me. Not older. Not younger. Just wrong. His face wasn't right. His mouth was too wide. His eyes didn't blink. And when he opened his mouth, I didn't hear a voice. I heard all of them, every tape I'd listened to, playing all at once. Then I woke up, screaming. It was pitch black. My phone, my lamp, everything was dead. When I opened the curtain, I saw it. Across the street, in the middle of the night, the red van was parked under the streetlight. Just sitting there. No one inside. Or, maybe someone was. I couldn't tell. I didn't sleep again after that. I started looking into local hospitals, cemeteries, whatever I could find. I searched for car accidents on Northview Avenue. Nothing matched. No red van incidents. No deaths like mine. But then I found something strange in an old obituary archive. There was a man, Arthur Lanning. Died in 1987. Same street. Same description. Red van. Killed instantly while crossing the road. His photo looked eerily like my dad. Only, my dad never mentioned any other family. I dug deeper. Found out Arthur had a brother named Simon. Guess what Simon did for a living? Audio engineer. Specialized in cassette mastering. The more I read, the more my chest tightened. Simon vanished in 1990. No explanation. Just gone. Left behind a workshop full of tapes, none labeled, none catalogued. The cops never figured it out. I drove to the last known address tied to Simon. It was only 30 miles from Grandma's place. The house was empty. Windows boarded up. Door locked. I broke in. I had to know. The basement was the worst part. Shelves covered in moldy boxes. Tape reels everywhere. And in the middle of the room, a mirror. I didn't notice at first, but when I got close, I saw something behind the glass. A shadow. It was me. Not a reflection, an actual figure. He moved when I didn't. He smiled when I screamed. Then the mirror cracked. And the shadow stepped through. I don't know how I got out. I just remember driving. No destination. No plan. Just driving. When I finally stopped, I was outside the church near Northview Avenue. It was almost 6:30. And I was wearing the exact clothes described on the tape. I felt my stomach turn. I turned around to leave. I swear I was going to walk away. Then I saw the red van. It was already there. Idling at the curb. But no one was inside. I turned again. And standing at the other end of the street was me. Older. He smiled. raised a hand, and pointed to the middle of the road. I felt something pulling me, like I had no control over my body. I stepped out onto the pavement. Lights in the corner of my eye. The van speeding toward me. Everything slowed. And then, nothing. Just darkness. I woke up in a small room. White walls. No windows. A chair. A desk. And a cassette player. One tape sat on the desk. It said, "Play me." I did. My voice, again. Only this time, it said, "Welcome back." Then I heard screaming. My own. Over and over. And laughter. Louder and louder. And then silence. The door behind me opened. A figure stood there. Me. Again. But this time, he wasn't smiling. He leaned in and whispered, "You still don't get it, do you? You never left. You've always been here." The door slammed shut. The tape clicked. And began to rewind itself. The tape rewound fast, too fast. It made a screeching sound, like metal grinding. My ears hurt. I slammed the stop button, but the player kept going. The lights in the room flickered. That old cassette player started to smoke. Then it spoke again. Not in my voice this time. It was deeper. Crooked. Like the words were being chewed before they came out. "You broke the loop." I backed away from the desk. My legs were shaking. "What do you want from me?" I shouted. The voice on the tape laughed. It didn't stop for a long time. "Then, we didn't want you. We wanted him. But you made a mess." The door behind me creaked open again. I turned. It was him again, the older version of me. But this time, he looked angry. Not crazy. Not smiling. Just tired. Real tired. "You shouldn't have fought it," he said. "What is this?" I whispered. He stepped in and shut the door. Locked it. "It's a trap." "Always was," he said. "The tapes? They're not warnings. They're bait." He pointed at the cassette player. "That thing doesn't record sound. It records choices. Every time you listened, every time you ran, every time you burned one, they learned more. They fed on it." I shook my head. "Who?" "The echoes," he said. "The ones outside of time. They need voices to anchor themselves." "And yours?" "Yours is pure. Unbroken. Not corrupted by memory. That's why they keep looping you through this." I stared at the tape player, which was now pulsing like a heart. The room was changing. The white walls peeled back to blackened wood. The smell of burnt plastic and mold filled the air. "You're saying this is all a feeding cycle?" "Yes," he said, stepping closer. "And you were supposed to take my place. But you broke the pattern. You looked too deep." I backed into the corner. "So, what now?" He pulled out a cassette from his pocket. It was labeled Reset. "You have a choice," he said. "Play this, and everything starts over. You'll forget all of this. Go back to Grandma's attic. Start fresh. Same pain. Same fear. Forever." I swallowed hard. "And the other choice?" He handed me a different tape. This one was blank. "You record your truth. All of it. No lies. No running. Then they take you. Not your body. Just your voice. Forever. They lock it in, and they leave the rest of you in peace. No more loops. No more watching yourself die." I stared at the tapes. Reset, or truth? What did you choose? I asked. He smiled, sad this time. I chose reset. I've done it 137 times. His eyes were watery. I remember all of them now. He turned away. Your choice. He vanished. The door swung open. The world outside was pitch black. I looked at both tapes. Reset. Truth. I picked up the blank one. My hands were shaking. I pressed record. And I spoke. I told everything. Every fear. Every death. Every time I saw myself from another life. Every choice. Every tape. Every loop. I told it all. When I finished, the tape player clicked. Then the room split open. Like someone peeled the world back. And I fell. No wind. No gravity. Just falling. Through black. Through sound. Through static. I heard voices, mine, theirs, all of them mixed. Then, silence. I woke up in a hospital bed. Real sunlight outside. A nurse walked in, smiled, said I'd been in an accident. You're lucky, she said. Guy in a red van almost killed you. Neck brace saved your life. I was alive. I was here. But my voice, gone. I couldn't speak. Not a word. Doctors said it was trauma. That maybe it'd come back. Maybe not. I knew the truth. My voice was gone because they had it now. They got what they wanted. And the loops? They were over. But sometimes, when I sleep, I still hear something. A soft click. A hiss. And my own voice, from some dark place far away, whispering, "Don't listen to this."